First things first, thank you for watching. Okay, let's jump into today's video. I want to formally introduce myself. I'm Jerica. I've been married to my husband Kyle for almost 9 years, and we have 3 children, 2 boys, 1 girl, and they range from 5 to 0. Our rare love journey began with our oldest child, Theodore. Everything about the pregnancy was typical until our testing came back and we had a positive for Down syndrome. And as soon as I got off that phone call, I just had a rush of emotions and thoughts. I was by myself. I cried. My husband was gone out of school. He's in the military, and my family wasn't there at the moment. And it was just, what does this mean for us as parents? And what does this mean for our child? And it wasn't until then that I had never realized subconsciously all the things that we expect to do with our child or, children, or anticipate doing with them. And that everything that I had thought wasn't going to happen, it was going to be different. And so I grieved that loss of what was going to happen. And I picked up new dreams, and I just came to the place of, I'm going to love my child no matter what. That doesn't change anything. And so at the 20-week anatomy scan, when they were checking everything, they came back and said it was a false positive. They didn't see any markers for Down syndrome. And so it was kind of like, okay, I had already accepted that my child wasn't going to be typical, but you're telling me my child's healthy, and I'm happy to hear that they're healthy. So I shared that with my family and, with my husband, and it was kind of like, okay, I guess we're going back on this typical journey path of parents and raising a child. And then at 26 weeks and 6 days, I went into labor. I got to the hospital. I won't get into all the details, but the baby was coming, and the safest delivery was going to be an emergency C-section. And it never even dawned on me how early he was coming, but that my baby was coming and I was having surgery. And I just didn't even expect, and neither did the doctors or my family, all the complications that happened, and what we found out about Teddy after his delivery. But I will say that getting that initial diagnosis of Down syndrome was a blessing in disguise, because I had already grieved that loss of a typical child. And so I had a peace during a very chaotic situation. And I'm so thankful for that. And so Teddy's official diagnosis came 6 months after his birth, and that's when he left the NICU as well. And that was MFDM, which is mandibulofacial dysostosis with microcephaly. It's a very rare gene mutation. And then he was diagnosed with autism after his 3rd birthday. And that's just a quick overview of his diagnosis, and I'll make another video about that, explaining those diagnoses a little bit more later. And so that's how we started our journey almost 6 years ago. And Teddy is just the sweetest little boy, and he's a great big brother, and he's taught us a lot of valuable things. And his siblings have been great models for him and teaching him things as well. and I hope that we can inspire others and encourage others with helpful tips and advice. And I want to thank you for watching and do everything in love.